If you are a fan of the two great writers, Laura Ingalls Wilder and Rose Wilder Lane, then surely it is impossible not to know the man who played an extremely important role in their lives. Almanzo James Wilder. Almanzo appeared in many famous books written by his wife, such as Little House, Farmer Boy, and The First 4 Years, and was the most sought-after character of the 1980s. So what makes Almanzo's life Almanzo attract audiences so much? The answer is his experiences and how he overcame life's tragedies. Watch this video until the end to get a clearer and more realistic view of his life. Let's get started. Almanzo James Wilder was born into a farming family as the fifth of 6 children to James Mason Wilder and Angelina Albina Day Wilder, marking the beginning of a life deeply rooted in agricultural tradition. Almanzo's life and character were later immortalized in the Little House series of semi-autobiographical novels by his wife, Laura Ingalls Wilder. In these books, Almanzo is presented as a recurring character, first appearing prominently in Farmer Boy, which details his childhood experiences in upstate New York. This book paints a vivid picture of his early life, highlighting his strong connection to farming and his love for horses. It also showcases his skills in carpentry and woodworking, attributes that define his quietly courageous and hard-working nature. Almanzo's story continued to unfold in subsequent novels of the series, where Laura Ingalls Wilder delves into their courtship and marriage. His presence is significant in The Long Winter, Little Town on the Prairie, These Happy Golden Years, and The First 4 Years, where his character further develops, offering insights into their life together. Additionally, he makes a brief appearance in Chapter 28, titled Moving Day, of By the Shores of Silver Lake. Farmer Boy, the second book in the beloved Little House series, by Laura Ingalls Wilder, offers a rich and detailed account of Almanzo Wilder's childhood experiences, beginning as he approaches his 9th birthday in 1866. Set against the backdrop of rural America, the book vividly captures the essence of 19th-century farm life through the eyes of young Almanzo. In this narrative, Almanzo navigates the daily rhythms and challenges of farm life. The story highlights his involvement in various farm activities, especially when his assistance is needed outside of the school term. A significant aspect of his growth is learning the intricate skill of training and driving a team of oxen. This skill not only represents a rite of passage in his farming community, but also underscores the importance of such knowledge for a farmer's son during that era. The book also immerses readers in the cultural and social aspects of the time. Almanzo's attendance at the county fair is a window into the community celebrations and agricultural showcases typical of the period. Another highlight is the depiction of a mid-19th century 4th of July celebration in Malone, New York, which paints a picture of national pride and community spirit. Interpersonal dynamics within Almanzo's family are also explored, particularly his relationships with his siblings. His interactions with his older sister Eliza Jane are especially noteworthy. Eliza Jane, known for her strong-willed nature, would later play a significant role in Almanzo's life as the schoolteacher of his future wife, Laura Ingalls. These interactions not only provide insight into family life, but also foreshadow important future connections. Published in 1933, Farmer Boy was originally the second book released in the series, following Little House in the Big Woods, and preceding the famous Little House on the Prairie, which was published in 1935. However, the original order of publication underwent a change with the release of illustrated editions in 1953 and 1971 by the publisher Harper. The Wilder family, facing the harsh realities of farming life, left Burke in 1870 due to a series of crop failures. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of a significant journey westward, a common theme in the era of American westward expansion. They eventually settled in Spring Valley, Minnesota, where they established a new farm. This move was indicative of the challenges and uncertainties faced by many farming families during this period, where resilience and adaptability were crucial for survival. In 1879, a crucial year in Almanzo Wilder's life, he embarked on a new adventure along with his older brother Royal and sister Eliza Jane. The trio moved to the Dakota Territory, an area that was rapidly gaining attention for its potential for agriculture and settlement. Here they took claims near what would later become De Smet, South Dakota. This move was not just a relocation, but a significant step in the lives of the Wilder siblings, reflecting the spirit of exploration and the pursuit of new opportunities that characterized the American frontier. Almanzo, with a vision for his future, settled on his homestead in the Dakota Territory. His intent was clear: to plant acres of seed wheat, leveraging the experience he had gained the previous summer in Marshall, Minnesota, where he had cultivated wheat on rented shares. This decision highlights the entrepreneurial spirit and agricultural knowledge that Almanzo possessed, crucial traits for success in the challenging environment of the American West. It was in De Smet that Almanzo's path fatefully crossed with Laura Ingalls. The Ingalls family, known for their pioneering spirit, were among the first settlers in the area even before the town was formally organized. Their move to the Dakota Territory from Walnut Grove, Minnesota, was driven by Charles Ingalls' temporary job with the railroad, a common occupation that supported the expansion westward. In The Long Winter, one of the notable books in Laura Ingalls Wilder's Little House series, Almanzo, Wilder emerges as a heroic figure, exemplifying courage and selflessness during one of the harshest winters in American history. The winter of 1880-1881 in De Smet, South Dakota, was characterized by a succession of fierce blizzards that isolated the town, cutting off essential supplies and bringing its citizens to the brink of starvation. In this dire situation, Almanzo Wilder, along with his friend Ed Cap Garland, undertook a perilous journey that would prove crucial for the survival of the De Smet community. Amidst a winter marked by unusually frequent and severe blizzards, which made travel nearly impossible and stopped trains from delivering food and supplies, Wilder and Garland embarked on a daring expedition. They traveled 12 miles, 19 kilometers, into the open, treacherous prairie, driven by the hope of finding wheat that a farmer was rumored to have harvested somewhere southwest of De Smet. Their journey was fraught with danger. The landscape, blanketed in deep snow and buffeted by fierce winds, presented an immense challenge. Despite these obstacles, Wilder and Garland persevered, driven by the urgency of their mission. After a strenuous search, they located the farmer and engaged in difficult negotiations, eventually persuading him to sell them 60 bushels of wheat. The return journey with the grain was no less hazardous. They hauled the life-saving wheat on sleds, which repeatedly broke through the snow-covered surface into slow grass, a testament to the treacherous conditions they faced. Their struggle against the elements was a race against time, as another devastating blizzard was looming. Miraculously, Wilder and Garland succeeded in their mission, returning to De Smet with the wheat just before the onset of another 4-day blizzard. The courtship between Almanzo Wilder and Laura Ingalls, which blossomed into a lifelong partnership, is a significant chapter in their personal history and in American literature, as detailed in Laura Ingalls Wilder's Little House series. When Wilder was around 25 years old and Ingalls was 15, the two began their romantic journey in the small town of De Smet, South Dakota. Their courtship was marked by the modest yet intimate customs of the time. Almanzo Wilder played a crucial role in Laura's life when she took up a teaching position 12 miles, 19 kilometers, outside De Smet, in a new settlement. Due to the distance, Laura had to board near the school during the week. Almanzo, demonstrating his affection and commitment, would faithfully drive her back and forth between De Smet and the school. These journeys provided the couple with precious opportunities to get to know each other, away from the prying eyes of the small community. As spring arrived, Their courtship took on a more leisurely pace with long, buggy rides through the countryside. These outings allowed Almanzo and Laura to enjoy each other's company in the beauty of the natural surroundings, strengthening their bond. The simplicity of these times reflected the values and customs of rural America in the late 19th century, where relationships developed slowly and were deeply rooted in shared experiences and mutual respect. After 3 years of courtship, Almanzo Wilder and Laura Ingalls married on August 25, 1885. The ceremony was conducted in De Smet by Reverend Edward Brown, marking the beginning of their life together. They settled on Wilder's homestead claim, embarking on their own farming ventures. This decision to establish their home on the land reflects their deep connection to the agrarian lifestyle that was central to their identities. On December 5, 1886, the Wilders welcomed their daughter, Rose. Rose Wilder Lane would grow up to carve her own path as a notable author, political writer, and philosopher. Her works and ideas would later contribute significantly to American literature and political thought, continuing the legacy of her mother's famed Little House series. The early years of Almanzo Wilder and Laura Ingalls. Wilder's marriage, as chronicled in The First 4 Years, were marked by a series of daunting challenges that tested their resilience and fortitude. Thus, years were characterized by a relentless sequence of misfortunes, including severe weather conditions, illness, and financial hardship, painting a vivid picture of the hardships faced by many pioneer families. One of the most significant trials they faced occurred in the spring of 1888, when both Almanzo and Laura were struck by diphtheria, a serious and contagious illness common in that era. While they both survived the initial infection, Almanzo suffered from a rare, debilitating complication known as neuritis. This condition resulted in temporary paralysis in areas of his legs, a devastating setback for a farmer whose livelihood depended heavily on physical labor. Even after the paralysis subsided, Almanzo was left with a lasting impairment, necessitating the use of a cane for walking. This physical limitation profoundly impacted his ability to engage in the rigorous activities essential for wheat farming. The couple's struggles were compounded by adverse environmental conditions. A prolonged drought during the late 1880s and early 1890s ravaged the Great Plains, severely affecting agricultural productivity. This drought, one of the worst in American history, led to widespread crop failures and economic distress for many farmers, including the Wilders. The year 1889 marked a period of profound sorrow and relentless hardship for Almanzo and Laura Ingalls Wilder, a time when their resilience was tested to its limits. This year brought a series of devastating events that profoundly impacted their lives, as described in Laura Ingalls Wilder's writings and recounted by their daughter, Rose Wilder Lane. In early August of that year, the Wilders experienced a brief moment of joy with the birth of a son. However, this happiness was tragically short-lived. The newborn, who remained unnamed, passed away suddenly just 2 weeks later due to convulsions, a term often used at the time to describe unexplained infant deaths. The loss of their child was a deeply personal and painful event for Laura and Almanzo, one that Laura Ingalls Wilder seldom spoke of publicly. This tragedy was compounded by the fact that the couple never had another child, making the loss even more poignant. The same month brought further misfortune to the Wilder family. Their home was destroyed in a fire, a calamitous event that left them without shelter and compounded their struggles. Additionally, their crops succumbed to the ongoing drought that had plagued the region. These back-to-back calamities, the loss of their child, home, and livelihood, represented a confluence of the worst fears of pioneer life. Rose Wilder Lane, in reflecting on this period of her parents' lives, encapsulated the enormity of their challenges. She noted that it took 7 successive years of complete crop failure, with work, weather, and sickness, that wrecked his health permanently, and interest rates of 36% on money borrowed to buy food, to force the family to abandon their land. This statement highlights the relentless nature of the difficulties they faced. A combination of environmental disasters, health issues, and financial burdens that would overwhelm even the most resilient individuals. The year 1890 marked a significant turning point for Almanzo and Laura Ingalls Wilder as they sought refuge from their relentless hardships. They moved to Spring Valley, Minnesota, to stay with Almanzo's parents on their farm. This move represented a much-needed respite for the family, a chance to rest and recover from the string of devastating events they had endured in South Dakota. Their time in Spring Valley was a period of healing and recuperation. Living with Almanzo's parents likely provided not only physical rest, but also emotional support. The nurturing environment of a family farm, away from the stresses of their failed endeavors, would have been a welcome relief. This period also allowed them to regroup and contemplate their next steps. In the pursuit of a fresh start and in hopes of further improving Almanzo's health, the Wilders made another significant move between 1891 and 1892. They relocated to Westville, Florida, drawn by the prospect of a warmer climate, which they hoped would aid in Almanzo's recovery from his health issues. Indeed, the milder temperatures in Florida did contribute positively to Almanzo's physical recuperation. However, this new setting brought its own challenges. Laura found the humid climate of Florida uncomfortable and struggled to adapt to the customs of the backwoods locals. These cultural and environmental factors made their life in Florida difficult, ultimately leading to their decision to return to De Smet in 1892. Back in De Smet, the Wilders rented a small house in town, a stark contrast to their previous life on the farm. This return signified a new phase in their journey, one focused on rebuilding and resilience. From 1892 to 1894, they lived close to the Ingalls family, providing a sense of community and familial support. During this time, Laura Ingalls Wilder worked as a seamstress in a dressmaker's shop, contributing to the family's income with her skills. Almanzo found work as a carpenter and day laborer, utilizing his craftsmanship and physical labor in a different context than farming. Their diverse skills helped them adapt to their new urban environment. The Wilders' lifestyle in De Smet was characterized by frugality and a strong commitment to saving money. This approach was likely influenced by their previous experiences of hardship and loss. Their careful management of finances and resources reflects the pragmatic and resilient spirit they developed as a result of their challenges. On July 17, 1894, Almanzo and Laura Ingalls Wilder embarked on another significant journey in their lives, leaving De Smet, South Dakota, to settle in the Ozarks of Missouri. This move was inspired by promotional materials that painted an idyllic picture of the region as the land of the Big Red Apple. These brochures, along with tales from a local man who had personally visited Missouri, piqued their interest and led them to consider the area as a promising new home. Their journey to Missouri was a quintessential pioneer trek undertaken in a covered wagon, a mode of transportation emblematic of the American westward expansion. The journey itself, likely arduous and filled with uncertainty, represented a leap of faith for the Wilders, driven by their hope for a better future. Upon their arrival near Mansfield, Missouri on August 31st, Almanzo took a significant step by placing a $100 down payment on a 40-acre, 16.2 hectares tract of land. This piece of land, though hilly and rocky, held the promise of a new beginning. Laura aptly named their new property Rocky Ridge Farm, a name that reflected both its rugged terrain and the potential it held. Rocky Ridge Farm was not just another piece of land for the Wilders. It was to become their final and most cherished home. Over the next 20 years, Almanzo dedicated himself to developing this property, transforming it from an undeveloped piece of land into a place they could truly call home. His labor was a labor of love, culminating in the construction of a unique 10-room house that would fulfill Laura's dream. One of the most remarkable features of this home was the custom-built kitchen cabinets. Almanzo, recognizing Laura's small stature of just 5 feet, 152 meters, tailored these cabinets to her specific needs. This thoughtful customization not only made the kitchen more functional for Laura, but also symbolized the care and attention Almanzo put into every aspect of their home. The transformation of Rocky Ridge Farm into a flourishing agricultural endeavor is a testament to Almanzo and Laura Ingalls, Wilder's perseverance and adaptability. From its modest beginnings as a 40-acre parcel of rocky, undeveloped land, the farm grew to encompass about 200 acres, 80.9 hectares, and became a model of diverse and sustainable farming. At Rocky Ridge Farm, the Wilders embraced a variety of farming practices, moving away from the single-crop focus that had led to difficulties in South Dakota. They developed the farm into a productive enterprise, featuring poultry, dairy, and fruit cultivation. This diversified approach was not only more suited to the climate and terrain of the Ozarks, but also provided a more stable and resilient economic foundation. By varying their agricultural output, the Wilders reduced the risk of total crop failure and ensured a steady supply of different products. Almanzo's lifelong love for Morgan horses, a breed known for its versatility and strength, found a special place at Rocky Ridge. He indulged in this passion, contributing to the farm's operations and his personal enjoyment. In addition to horses, the farm boasted a large herd of cows and goats, further diversifying their livestock and enhancing the farm's productivity. Their approach to farming at Rocky Ridge Farm reflected the lessons learned from their previous experiences. The focus on diversified agriculture demonstrated their understanding of the importance of adaptability and the need to tailor farming practices to specific environmental conditions. Almanzo Wilder spent the remainder of his life on this farm, fully immersed in the life he had built with Laura. Both Almanzo and Laura were not only dedicated to their farm, but also actively engaged in various community and church pursuits in Missouri. Their involvement in community affairs illustrates their commitment to and integration into their local community, marking them as respected and contributing members of their society. The financial journey of Almanzo and Laura Ingalls Wilder, alongside their daughter Rose Wilder Lane, is a narrative of resilience, mutual support, and eventual success. While the royalties from Laura's Little House books eventually contributed significantly to their financial stability, it was a gradual process that spanned several decades. In the early years, particularly before the mid-1930s, the Wilders faced financial challenges, despite the growing popularity of the Little House series. During this period, their daughter Rose played a pivotal role in supporting them financially. Rose's assistance was crucial in helping her parents navigate through these financially uncertain times, demonstrating a strong familial bond and mutual support. As the 1930s and 1940s progressed, the Wilders' efforts at Rocky Ridge Farm began to pay off. The farm's diversified approach to agriculture started to yield more stable and significant returns. Coupled with the increasing royalties from the Little House books, these income sources gradually led the Wilders towards financial stability that had eluded them in the earlier years of their marriage. This newfound financial security was a marked contrast to their earlier struggles and was a source of comfort and relief for the couple. Throughout their marriage, Laura Ingalls Wilder actively contributed to the family's income through various means. In the early years, she took in boarders, providing lodging for travelers or locals in need of temporary accommodation. She also wrote columns for a rural newspaper, sharing her insights and experiences, and served in a financial capacity as treasurer loan officer for a farm loan association. These roles not only contributed financially, but also showcased her diverse skills and resourcefulness. Rose's involvement in her parents' lives extended beyond financial support. She lived with the Wilders on Rocky Ridge Farm for extended periods, during which she oversaw significant modernizations of the property. Under her guidance, the farm was electrified and other modern updates were introduced, significantly improving the quality of life for her aging parents. Additionally, Rose had an English-style stone cottage built for Almanzo and Laura, providing them with a comfortable and picturesque living space. Meanwhile, she occupied the farmhouse for about 10 years, managing the farm's operations and ensuring its continued success. One significant development was his learning to drive an automobile, a skill that greatly expanded the couple's mobility and ability to explore beyond their farm at Rocky Ridge. With this newfound freedom, Almanzo and Laura Ingalls Wilder embarked on several long automobile trips, embracing the spirit of adventure that had characterized much of their lives. Their travels took them to various destinations, including California and the Pacific Northwest, offering them a chance to experience different parts of the United States. Additionally, they made several trips to South Dakota to visit the remaining members of the Ingalls family, maintaining their strong family connections. Around 1937, when their daughter Rose Wilder Lane moved permanently to Connecticut, Almanzo and Laura quickly returned to their beloved farmhouse at Rocky Ridge. This decision reflected their deep attachment to the farm and their desire to spend their remaining years in the place they had cultivated and called home for so long. Subsequently, they sold off the eastern part of their land, including the stone cottage that Rose had built for them. In his last years, Almanzo continued to engage in activities that brought him joy and satisfaction. He tended small vegetable and flower gardens, indulging in the simple pleasures of gardening. His lifelong love of woodworking and carpentry also remained a significant part of his life, allowing him to use his skills in a more leisurely manner. Additionally, he took care of his goats, reflecting his enduring connection to farming and animal husbandry. Almanzo also played a role in welcoming the numerous fans of the Little House books who visited Rocky Ridge Farm. These visitors, drawn by the stories penned by Laura Ingalls Wilder, were a testament to the enduring popularity and impact of the Little House series. Almanzo's involvement in greeting these fans highlighted his support for his wife's literary legacy. Almanzo Wilder passed away on October 23, 1949, after suffering 2 heart attacks. Laura Ingalls Wilder died 8 years later on February 10, 1957. Their daughter, Rose Wilder Lane, continued their legacy until her death in 1968. All three are buried in Mansfield, Missouri, forever linked in death as they were in life. Today, Rocky Ridge Farm, known as the Laura Ingalls Wilder Rose Wilder Lane Museum, stands as a tribute to their lives and legacies. Visitors can see many of Almanzo's possessions and examples of his handiwork, not only at Rocky Ridge, but also at the family's earlier farm sites in Malone, New York, and Spring Valley, Minnesota. From the accounts left by his wife and daughter, Almanzo is remembered as a quiet, stoic man, a figure representative of his time and culture. His passion for farming, horses, and rural living is well documented in the written recollections of his family and friends, painting a picture of a man deeply connected to the land and the simple, hard-working life of the American frontier. What do you think about the tragic life of Almanzo James Wilder? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.